Hey there, my name is Tolo, and in this video I want to show you my opener for TvP. Originally it was planned that I talk about the TvT opener in this video and how you react to different openers from your opponents. But I didn't really have the replays for that, so instead I'll show you my TvP opening. The idea behind this opening is that you build 5 Cyclones and a really fast third base, and with the 5 Cyclones you can pressure the third base of the enemy and possibly deny it, and you're safe against pretty much anything the opponent could throw at you, so you can build up your third base safely for yourself. So in this video I will show you a general overview about this build, and hopefully next time I can tell you about the adjustments you need to build to react to certain opponent build orders, but I'll have to see if I have the right replays for that then. Okay, let's start with the build. It's a standard gas first Reaper expansion at first, so as always you rally your first worker to the ramp and build the supply depot there, and as soon as you have 75 minerals you start building the refinery. After the worker at the ramp is finished, you will have a short time when you can't build the barracks at exactly this moment, but as soon as you have 150 minerals you start the barracks. The refinery gets saturated with 3 workers as soon as it finishes. If you want to, you can rally the worker that finishes at the same moment as the refinery to get a little earlier worker at this gas, but that isn't really required. And I suggest you to worker scout with this build, because while you can defend most all-ins without scouting, it is generally way easier to defend one base all-ins if you worker scouted it. And if he goes for a proxy robo, you really need a worker scout because, well, it requires a very special answer. So yeah, when the barracks is finished, you build your Reaper and the orbital command, and rally the worker that finished the barracks at the natural and start building your CC there. As soon as you have 150 minerals and 100 gas, you start your factory, and after that the second refinery. And after the second refinery, you immediately start your reactor. Yeah, and when you started your reactor, you also start your supply depot as soon as you have 100 minutes. Okay, let's talk about what you want to see with the Reaper, and also what the SCV Scout was for. With the SCV Scout, you want to see if he has an expansion and if there are 2 pilots in his main. If he has an expansion, then everything is fine at that moment, and you could already return with your worker. And if there's no expansion, you should prepare for a one base push. So it might be a good idea to scout at the proxy locations on this map, for example here or here, with your Reaper. But if you scouted a Nexus, you generally want to have your Reaper in the main of the opponent to see if he builds a mothership core. And yeah, if the pilots are in the main. And if you didn't build a mothership core, you most of the time can see which tech building he goes for. Probably a Stargate. And react accordingly. Yeah, I think that's about what you want to see with the Reaper, if there's an expansion, and if you build a mothership core. Okay, let's return to the build. Yeah, as soon as the reactor and the factory are finished, you swap your factory at the reactor and put your barracks somewhere in your base. When the factory is at the reactor, you start a mine and a cyclone. The mine is against oracles and the cyclone is against anything that might come from the front. So you want to put your mine in the main mineral line for oracle defense, and the cyclone at the ramp to deflect like an adept that wants to go there. After your first cyclone is finished, you produce 2 cyclones more, and yeah, as I said, you burrow your mine in your main mineral line. And you build a supply depot around it this time. It isn't this isn't a really strict timing with the supply depot, but it should be finished before 46 supply. And around at 350 you want to put down your third command center in your main, because if you put it down at the third location it will probably get punished and you might have to cancel it. And yeah, after you put down your third base, you start 2 cyclones more. And as soon as you have the 100 minerals, you start your supply, your supply depot then. Okay, let's stop for a moment after the 5th cyclone is out. Alright. Yeah, as soon as you had 100 minerals after the supply depot, you wanted to throw down your second factory and a tech lab at the barracks you put in your main. With these 5 cyclones, you want to push out to see if the opponent has a third base, and if he has one, it might be possible to deny it, or if he has one, there's a really good possibility that you might deny it and he has to cancel it, because if he has such a fast third base, he won't have that many units. And also the Reaper might help with looking where the third base of the opponent is. And the idea after of this push is only to delay his third base, but you should not go into the natural of the opponent. Under normal circumstances, there are circumstances under which you want to go in his natural. For example, if he builds more than 1 oracle and you know that he has nearly no units, then you want to go into his natural, and there's a good possibility that you outright kill him. Because his timing with 5 cyclones at this moment is really strong. So, but after these 5 cyclones, normally there is no reason to build other cyclones. If you go very stalker heavy, you want to have a couple of cyclones more, but after the initial 5, the effectiveness of those cyclones drop off very rapidly. So you start building Hellions to conserve gas, to build a third factory, which we should see right about now. And that one is built right next to the barracks because you want to build your second tech lab at this factory, and as soon as this factory is finished, you want to swap it with the barracks to have your both factories with a tech lab about at the same time. Yeah, this is about the build. I played an example follow-up after this that I will show you too. But after you attacked with the 5 Cyclones and you have your 3 factories in building, the follow-up is generally pretty open. So what I like to do is, well, of course, first get the 3rd and 4th gas, build 2 mines after the initial 2 Hellions, for primarily for anti-air purposes, and yeah, if you think it is safe, you can put down your 3rd base and start producing Hellion tank from the factories, and soon you will have enough gas to build an armory, which comes here. And you will have pretty many minerals because you built your mines first, and you didn't really have anything to use your minerals. So yeah, constant tank and Hellion production. And what I like to do is that you build a starport and immediately after that a fusion core to have and obviously at the starport a tech lab and this is to research advanced ballistics, because range liberators are pretty good to defend pushes from the opponents, and pushes from the opponents are really scary, especially when he is on 3 bases and really wants to kill you with Immortal Archon. There's not really much you can do. What I found out was that Rage Liberators are, with tank and mine battalion support, are pretty okay against that. So yeah, from the armory, I like to research the +1 weapons first. And after +1 weapons, I stop producing mech weapons and go to defense. Because how I play it is that your mech units are only a transitional composition to Sky Terran, and you go Sky Terran as soon as it is possible. And yeah, mech defense really helps against carriers. So yeah, those 2 factories are for reactors to build Hellions for 1 buys, because you will have, as you see here already, you will have very many minerals, because all the units you really fight with are really gas expensive, like tanks or yeah, I think we can pause this replay now. Like tanks or liberators, or later ravens and battle cruisers. And the Hellions are primarily there for 1 buys, because they are not really good in an open fight against Protoss. But you will have very many Hellions, so you can just take like 6 Hellions for each base of the opponent and go in there. So yeah, I think that was about it for this build order. As always, I will put the build order in text form in the description. And yeah, thank you for watching, and if you liked it, please subscribe, like, dislike if you didn't like it, and please tell me why. And until next time, where I hopefully will show you how to react to all-ins with this build.